On our son's 18th birthday, we threw him a huge party. Midway through, he pulled me aside with tears in his eyes. He had found his mom's affair messages while setting up the playlist. I sat with him calmly. Then, together, we stood before the crowd and thanked everyone for coming, and let them all know why we'd be starting fresh without her. We live in Bloomington, Indiana. Quiet place. Good schools. Not too big, not too small. I've worked maintenance at Monroe Hospital for almost 17 years. My wife Melanie used to work there too, but she quit 5 years ago to focus on the family, or that's what she told everyone. We have one kid. Caleb. He just turned 18. I spent a month planning his birthday. This wasn't some quick barbecue with neighbors. I rented tents, lights, chairs, a full barbecue buffet, music setup, the whole deal. Caleb deserved it. He's a good kid. Doesn't get in trouble. Worked part-time at Kroger since he was 16. Graduated high school with a 3.9 GPA and got into Purdue. I was proud. Still am. The party started around 5 p.m. It was a nice spring evening. Weather held up. People were smiling, laughing. Melanie had picked out a white sundress for the occasion, said she wanted to look nice for our boy. She looked happy. Comfortable. Like nothing was wrong. I was out back by the grill, making sure the caterers were setting things up right. Around 7:30, Caleb came looking for me. I could tell something was wrong the second I saw his face. He had this stunned look, like his mind had just been pulled out from under him. "Dad, can I talk to you?" he asked. Quietly. I stepped aside with him, behind the shed, where nobody could hear. He was holding Melanie's phone. "I was just trying to add a song to the playlist," he said. Her phone was closer, so I used it. She left Spotify open, but when I searched for something, this popped up. He handed it to me. It was a text thread with a man named Dennis. At first, I couldn't make sense of it. Then I saw the most recent message, timestamped just 2 days earlier. "I dreamt about your mouth again. When can I see you without the risk?" There were more. "That kiss was too short. Your husband doesn't deserve you. Just say the word." I scrolled and scrolled. Pictures. Hotel room selfies. Some dated back more than a year. My jaw clenched. But I didn't yell. I didn't freak out. I just sat down on the back steps. Caleb followed and sat next to me. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't mean to find it. I didn't want to ruin the party." "You didn't," I said. She did. I can't explain what I felt in that moment. It wasn't just anger. It was like the floor of my life had given out. But the one solid thing beside me was Caleb. And I knew, I had to do something right in front of him. I wasn't going to scream or throw things or ask her why. That's what she would have expected. She had been preparing for an explosion. What she wasn't ready for was the silence. I looked at him and said, "You want to stand with me?" He nodded without hesitation. We walked back toward the tents. Everyone was still eating. Laughing. Melanie was by the cake, talking to her sister and our neighbor. She didn't notice us coming. I picked up the microphone we used earlier for Caleb's speech. Tapped it twice. Got everyone's attention. I looked out over the crowd. Neighbors. Aunts. Uncles. Caleb's teachers. His friends. "Thank you all for coming," I said. "This party means a lot to us. Caleb's 18. He's worked hard. We're proud of him." People clapped. Someone cheered. I looked at my wife. "I want to share something else," I said. "Because I believe in honesty. Caleb and I learned something tonight. Something no one wants to find out." Now people got quiet. Really quiet. While Caleb was setting up music, he found messages on Melanie's phone. Messages between her and a man named Dennis. Messages going back over a year. Some romantic. Some sexual. All of them behind our backs. Melanie's face turned pale. She didn't move. Didn't speak. I kept going. She's been cheating on me. On this family. She's been lying, smiling in our faces, playing mom and wife while sneaking off with another man. A few people gasped. One of Melanie's friends looked away. I looked at Caleb. She didn't just cheat on me. She cheated on both of us. Then I turned back to the crowd. So, after tonight, things are going to change. Melanie won't be coming home with us. We're starting fresh, me and my son. No more lies. I handed the mic to Caleb. I didn't ask him to speak. But he took it anyway. He looked at his mom. I'm not a kid anymore, he said. You could have just told me. But you lied. I thought we were a family. I was proud of us. I don't even know who you are right now. He set the mic down gently. Melanie didn't say a word. Her hand trembled around her wine glass. She looked at me, then Caleb, then the people still watching her. And she walked away. Left the backyard, heels clicking on the pavement. Didn't grab her purse. Didn't say goodbye. People slowly started leaving. A few came over, offered support. Some looked stunned. Her sister tried to say something, but I told her to go. I slept in Caleb's room that night. We didn't talk much. Just sat in silence. But I could tell, he felt safe again. And I hadn't lost my son. If anything, I'd gotten him back. The days after the party were quiet, but not peaceful. Melanie didn't come back that night. Or the next. She texted once, I'm sorry. I never meant for it to come out like that. We need to talk. I didn't answer. She finally came by 3 days later to pick up clothes. I told her she could come when Caleb was at school and I was at work. She showed up anyway, right as Caleb was getting off the bus. I was in the garage when I heard the door slam. He stormed in. She's here. I stepped inside. She was standing in the living room like she still lived there. No knock. Just walked in. I need to explain, she said. I didn't look at her. You had over a year to explain. I didn't want to hurt Caleb, but you did, I cut her off. You did it anyway. You just didn't want to get caught. She looked at Caleb. Please, let me talk to you, just for a minute. He stood next to me. No. You made your choices. You didn't just cheat on Dad. You lied to me too. You broke our home. Melanie tried to cry. Maybe she meant it. Maybe not. But neither of us were moved. Get what you need, I told her. You have 10 minutes. She grabbed some clothes, her laptop, and left. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. A week later, I got served. She was filing for separation and spousal support. I stared at the papers. She was asking for half of everything. My pension. The house. Even partial custody of Caleb, like she hadn't just been caught cheating on both of us. I called a lawyer the next morning. His name was Tom. Older guy. No games. She cheated, I told him. We have proof. Messages, photos, everything. Tom nodded. It helps. But this is Indiana. No-fault divorce state. Courts don't care much about infidelity. But if your son is willing to testify about what he found, and how she behaved, you'll have a shot at keeping the house and majority custody. I felt sick. She broke everything, and now she wanted to benefit from it. Then came the real twist. About 2 weeks after that, a co-worker at the hospital pulled me aside. You heard about Dennis? She asked. My stomach dropped. What about him? She showed me an email forwarded by someone in HR. Dennis was being investigated for sexual misconduct at his job. Apparently, Melanie wasn't the only married woman he'd been seeing. He'd been involved with 2 nurses, one of whom filed a formal complaint. He worked for a medical supply company that contracted with the hospital. And now his reputation was sinking fast. I printed everything I could find. Then, Melanie made her next move. She showed up at Caleb's school. She tried to corner him after class. Told him I was poisoning him, turning him against her. That she still loved him, still wanted to be his mom. He told her to stay away. Told the school, too. That's when I filed a restraining order, on behalf of Caleb. Not to be cruel. Just to give him space. Melanie's lawyer called mine and accused me of weaponizing the child. Tom laughed. Let them push that in court. Won't go far. The court date got set. It wasn't until midsummer. Meanwhile, I started making plans. I wasn't just going to defend myself. I was going to hit back. And I had the perfect way. 3 weeks before the court date, I got an unexpected visitor. It was Dennis. I didn't recognize him at first. He pulled up in a black SUV and stepped out like he owned the block. Mid-40s, gym fit, shaved head. He walked up to my porch like we were old friends. You Ray? He asked. I didn't answer. He smiled. Look, I'm not here to cause trouble. Just figured we should talk man to man. You know, smooth things over. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. You got 5 seconds to leave my property. He raised his hands. Whoa, relax. I'm just trying to explain. Melanie's going through a lot. She didn't mean to hurt anybody. We didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. I stepped closer. You slept with a married woman. You helped break her family. You think I care what you planned? He didn't flinch. I'm just saying, maybe we can settle this like adults. She's trying to avoid a messy court case. Maybe she walks away from spousal support. You stop dragging my name into your business. That's when it clicked. He was worried about the HR complaint. And probably afraid I'd submit all the proof of his affair to the hospital board. Let me guess, I said. You're about to lose your contract with the hospital. Maybe your whole job. He looked away. Yeah, I said. You should have thought about that before climbing into my wife's bed. He turned and walked off. Didn't say goodbye. I never saw him again after that, but I heard enough through the grapevine. He was terminated within the month. Quietly, but permanently. The HR file was sealed, but not before it got passed around the right circles. Then something strange happened. Melanie's lawyer dropped her case. Just withdrew without explanation. Tom told me, that's not common. Either she ran out of money or something big scared her off. The next day, Melanie called. First time I'd heard her voice in over a month. I need to talk, she said. I didn't respond. I'm pregnant, she added. I froze. Then she said, it's not yours. But it's not Dennis's either. I hung up. Caleb was in the living room. He looked up when he saw my face. What now? She says she's pregnant, I said. But not by me or Dennis. His mouth dropped open. I didn't even know who the third guy was. At that point, I didn't care. What mattered was that she was unraveling. Fast. Melanie sent 2 more texts over the next week. Both begging to talk. Both deleted without reply. Then, the day before court, she showed up again, this time with her sister. She was pale, looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her sister did all the talking. She wants to settle. She'll walk away from everything. No alimony. No assets. Just full release and shared custody terms. I looked at Melanie. Why now? She didn't answer. Her sister said she knows she messed up. She just wants to move on. I agreed to the deal. But not before I added one clause: Melanie was to have zero say in how Caleb chose to engage with her. If he didn't want contact, that was final. She signed. But I knew it wasn't over. Not yet. Because Caleb wasn't done talking. He wanted to make his own statement. And I was going to stand beside him, just like he had stood beside me. Caleb asked if he could speak at court. Our lawyer warned us it wouldn't carry much weight in the legal decision, but that didn't matter to him. He didn't care about who got what anymore. He wanted to be heard. We stood in that courtroom in early July. Melanie sat across from us. She looked smaller than I remembered. Her dress was loose. Hair not done. That old confidence, gone. When the judge allowed Caleb to speak, he walked to the front, cleared his throat, and faced her. "You're my mom," he started. "You raised me. Took me to school. Helped with my homework. You told me to always tell the truth. You said cheating was wrong. You told me to be a man who keeps his word." He paused, voice steady. "But you didn't do any of that. You lied to me. You lied to Dad. You told me we were a family, while you were out with other men. Not one mistake. Not a moment of weakness. A year. Maybe more." Melanie's eyes filled with tears. But Caleb didn't stop. "You want to be in my life now? You don't get to decide that. I do. And I don't want you in it." He turned to the judge. "I don't need a mother who cheats, lies, and tries to lie again when she gets caught. I just want peace." Then he walked back and sat next to me. I put my hand on his shoulder. He didn't cry. Neither did I. The judge granted our terms. I kept the house. Full custody. No support owed to Melanie. No visitation rights without Caleb's consent. After the ruling, we walked out together. Melanie didn't follow. She stayed in her chair, staring at the table, like if she stayed still long enough, time might rewind. It didn't. A few weeks later, her sister called me. Said Melanie lost the baby. I didn't ask questions. Didn't send flowers. I just told her, "We're done here." And that was it. Life moved forward. I fixed up the house. Got Caleb ready for Purdue. I bought a used truck and started hiking more on weekends. We weren't rich. We weren't perfect. But we had truth. And truth, after years of silence and smiling lies, felt better than anything I'd ever known. Melanie's name doesn't come up much anymore. Sometimes Caleb gets mail addressed to her, junk mostly. He tosses it without a word. The night before he left for college, he looked at me and said, "I don't know how you stayed so calm through all of it." I told him the truth. I didn't want to win by yelling. I wanted to win by walking away with my head up. "You helped me do that." He nodded. We walked away together. And we did. Let her keep her lies. Let Dennis vanish into whatever hole he crawled out of. Let whoever came after them learn the hard way. We had each other. And we had the truth. And that was enough. Caleb adjusted to college life fast. Purdue gave him a clean slate. He met new people, made real friends, kept his grades up. Every Sunday, he'd call. Not out of duty, because he wanted to. "I'm doing good, Dad," he'd say. Better than I thought I would. That first fall without him around the house was quiet. Too quiet some nights. I'd sit in the living room and remember when he was just a kid, building Lego towers or watching cartoons while Melanie folded laundry beside me. It all seemed like a different life. Like someone else's memory. One day in October, I saw Melanie in the Kroger parking lot. She looked worn down. She was pushing a cart with maybe 5 items in it, frozen dinners, a bottle of wine, a roll of paper towels. No ring on her hand. No light in her eyes. We locked eyes for half a second. She looked like she wanted to say something. Maybe sorry. Maybe help. I just nodded once and walked past. That was the moment I knew revenge didn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes, it's just standing taller while the person who tried to destroy you crumbles under their own weight. From mutual friends I still talk to, I learned Dennis moved states. Took a job in Ohio, far from here. Nobody heard from him much after that. Rumors swirled he was being investigated again, different woman, different company. Pattern repeating. Melanie tried to get a job back at the hospital. HR turned her down. Too many whispers. Too much baggage. She eventually moved into a small apartment on the west side of town. Her sister helped her with rent for a while, but even that stopped when the family got tired of her excuses. She called once. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for getting caught, just, for all of it. I deleted the message. Not out of hate. Just because I'd already heard the only apology I needed, from Caleb, the day he thought he ruined his own party. He hadn't. He saved us both. Now it's been almost a year. I see my son during breaks. We go fishing. We cook. We talk about his future, internships, travel, maybe med school. His eyes shine when he talks about what's next. There's no weight on his back anymore. Melanie still lives here, last I checked. Alone. No car. No job. No husband. No son. She wanted everything. Ended up with nothing. Me? I've got my peace. And my son. That's all I ever needed. That, and knowing she had to sit there on the night she thought she was celebrating. And watch it all fall apart, one truth at a time. That night didn't ruin our lives. It ended hers. And I can live with that.